Hi, welcome to the Tuesday night
Hello.
music show. Hello, Jay's impersonation
I'm at the bank.
of a Staten Island realtor sounds a lot like Christopher Walken to me. I don't know, it's just I can't do a Walken. I wish I could. I
You
love
got to work
Christopher
on
Walken
that.
impersonations. I don't know about you guys. It's my
Some
jam.
people do them
You gotta
great.
get that, you gotta have
No,
that
you
No.
first.
know.
Your dog doesn't have a tail. If I had a
Well,
tail, you would know I was happy. Okay.
right. Jay's here. We know that. We get John C here, Boston John, and Eric.
Chill night.
Eric in the shed again. He's
Yeah.
Eric in the tool.
And we're not supposed to wonder why he
Tool
has
shed
trash
Eric.
bags on the walls. It's not to keep the blood off the
That's
wood.
down on the splattering. Yeah.
But when I saw things,
In the
they don't
kill room.
squirt on the wall anymore.
I spare no expense. Those are tablecloths, okay? They're not garbage bags.
Nice.
You
Nice.
can roll things in them.
You just roll them up and throw them away when you're done with them. And no fuss,
Pay
no
no
muss.
attention. Pay no attention to the things behind the curtain.
Yeah, no kidding. Huh?
It's like
Is
it's
that
like
a hand?
So I don't have a topic. I don't know if you guys do, but we're just here. It's Tuesday night. We're doing the music show. It's the four horsemen, I guess, tonight on screen here. We have fun together. We all have fun together.
Yep.
Sometimes
I'll
we get a
give you
word in
something
edgewise.
that you guys can riff on.
Okay.
I have a party Saturday and a wedding Sunday. And the party Saturday is a fundraiser for a school in a very, I think I told you the other day, in a very nice area of San Diego.
Yes.
So they're sparing like zero expenses. I've already gone over the 3K mark with adding. Oh, what about this? Yeah, sure. Okay, add that.
Right.
But here's the theme. And apparently, as the night progresses, they drink. And then by the end of the night, they dance for a couple hours and then they go.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the beginning of the night. I talked to
Yeah.
a client today. The theme is James Bond.
Okay. I can help.
So I immediately thought of you with Safe
Right.
House
Yes.
and thought, I obviously have to get the catalog of James Bond. Nobody Does It Better, For Your Eyes Only. You know, what's the Shirley Bassey? Not Man with a Gun, Goldfinger,
Live and let die.
Yeah.
Live and Let Die. I mean, just the atypical at some point, like I figure the first couple hours, play a song, a James Bond song, play a song, a James Bond. But the question becomes, do I look to get like the instrument soundtrack stuff? You know how there's a difference between the soundtrack and the score? You
Yeah.
can get the score, which is a lot of the instrumentation,
Right.
orchestration.
Well, Billy
But it-
Strange does the theme song. The dun,
Okay.
dun, 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 dun,
Right.
It's Billy Strange, and that's
Okay. But
that's
would you
the-
play off that around it? It's like this kind of weird 60s, late 50s guitar.
I tell you
thing.
what I do
Okay.
at Safe House, because James Bond is the main thing,
Right.
but there were a lot of spy things.
Sure.
So it's kind of James Bond themed, but we really look at it more like a spy bar. So it's anything that has to do with that. So you can look at stuff like Austin Powers, which
Right.
is stuff that people will know who are our age or younger, even if they weren't around watching the movies, they saw it on the DVD. You can also do things like I Spy. I mean, that song I used to play a lot. Secret Agent Man, Johnny Rivers.
I figured that one.
Spies
funny
like
one
us,
is-
McCartney.
Yes, but I don't do a lot of the. In fact, I haven't done them in forever. The James Bond
Yeah.
theme songs. I will do Soul Bossa Nova. I'll do that, which is Quincy Jones, the theme song to Austin Powers. You know that.
Oh, okay. I
And
started
the
thinking
other
like
one,
Brazil, for some reason, Brazil 66 popped in my head.
that's
I'm like,
fine. Or Sergio Mendes,
Yeah.
Mascanada, or
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a really good one, like the original, the old one.
Yeah, the old one.
That's cool to do. I Touch Myself to Vinyls is hilarious because people remember that reference. There's stuff you can do that's
Well, this is
fun.
a Catholic high school. I may steer away from I Touch Myself.
You might have.
Oh, well, you left that part out, didn't
I
you?
did leave that part out.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a fundraiser for a Catholic high school.
Catholic high school.
Okay.
Yeah, like
So
like
don't
Peter
do-
Gunn, like the Peter Gunn theme.
Well, yeah, Peter Gunn.
But
But Kevin had mentioned Get Smart. I did think of that, and Mission Impossible. That's a really good one.
Those would be great.
And as I'm cultivating the list in my head, I've got the ones that I think are spy driven. But that was my big question to you guys: is what do you go when you have to do a theme? Do you play the things that are around it for the period, or around it musically? And that's what I meant when you said Billy Strings or Billy. Is it Billy Strings does the
Billy
theme?
Strange does the
Billy
theme
Strange
song,
does the
you know.
theme.
I used to think
Well,
it
the
was
theme
Terry
reminds
Mancini,
me of
but
the
it's-
Ventures a little,
Yes,
or that
yes.
surf guitar stuff.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
in my
like
head,
period
I'm like,
pieces. Yeah.
oh, I can play these surf guitar instrumental Dick Dale Miserlou because it's from Pulp Fiction, and
right?
that's sort
you
of
can do a lot of quirky things, but I'll tell you what I do. I typically jump in and out of them.
Okay, that's my next question.
Yeah, I don't stay in a theme
You don't
with
sit
that
in it
stuff.
all night.
No,
sprinkle it over the course of the night. Don't do it all in an hour block or something. Well, it's quiet. Like no one's going to dance to the spy.
Well, and that's what I said. I'm
no,
like,
they're not. So
I know it's a James Bond theme, so I'll play some James Bond, some regular music, some more James Bond. Oh, that sounds great.
well,
That's not really an answer from a client when they say that sounds great, is it? I'm like,
well,
okay.
they just have a vague idea of what they want, and they're expecting you to be the creative on it, and that's perfect.
yeah,
So
which I'm happy.
you mentioned that it's going to be how long is this event?
6 hours.
And then you said the last part they're going to dance.
Usually they dance, I guess, the end of the night. I guess the MO for this event is everyone shows up. It's a silent auction.
Mhm.
They also have an auctioneer. They have a photo booth. It's at a country club.
Mhm.
And I'm providing, I think, 15 uplights, 4 moving heads that are solely doing that figure 8 pattern
Yep.
because it reminds them of a photo they sent me where it's like,
Well,
Movers.
Searchlights is very spy kind of. Yeah.
Well, in
that's
that very
perfect.
beginning of James Bond with that, dun-dun,
Yeah,
dun-dun.
the thing going back with a target
And
in it.
oddly,
Yeah.
right. And oddly enough, I'm doing red uplights on everything. But I guess I have never done the event. I'm taking over for another DJ who can't do it.
Sure.
His comment to me was expect towards the end of the night when the alcohol hits that the dance floor will go. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm looking
Right.
forward to it. He goes, and realize people will think they're 20 years younger than they are.
Yeah. Fun.
So, which I understand. Like people in their 60s now are like they're
Right.
cool with newer music, and I think that's what he meant. He didn't mean it derogatory. He meant
Right.
Don't think you have to play stuff from the 60s.
Sure.
They want to hear Usher and they want to hear
Right.
Delicious. And all
So
that.
so sprinkle it. I mean, the other thing you can do, anything's like I said, anything's spy. So the Kingsman movies, songs from that. They played Freebird in that. They did Disney Rascal Bonkers. I've played that. Stuff like
I think
that.
in a club environment, I would see that. I wonder if in this, if they would catch.
I'm not talking about for dancing. And
No,
that's
I'm
why
talking
I
about
asked
earlier.
you.
Yeah.
That's why I
okay,
asked
so
you.
we are talking about earlier. Okay.
Right. Earlier
No, I
in the
didn't
night.
think you were playing, Busy Bonker maybe, but Freebird.
Well,
they might be the right age for slow
I'm just
dance,
trying
who
to think of
knows?
what was in those films
Right.
that people may have seen, and if they're thinking spy themed things, oh yeah, that was in that film. It's like a recollection thing. It's stuff they're not thinking about. So those
What
are the kind
about
of things
the
that you can-
album from the guy that was in A Man Called Uncle?
Yeah, A Man from Uncle,
A Man from Uncle.
The Man from Uncle, or whatever. Yeah, that kind of you can play that theme.
But
I've done
that guy
before.
had an album, and it's the sample for the Dr. Dre track. Next episode, I think.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
I can't remember the name of the song,
No,
but
the guy just passed away. He was on
Yes, he
NCIS
did.
too.
yes,
But he had an album.
it
like
was
64.
we used it for the next episode.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm wondering
that
if I
kind
could
of
just
stuff.
play the original.
Yeah, you
and
could do
just-
that. I
And then
think you.
claim, oh, Man from Uncle. It's like James Bond.
I think it just seems to me like people enjoy the songs that are either really quirky or cool. I don't think they're into like these crazy songs that I don't know. There's some that I just don't play.
Like what?
Like the Eartha Kitt
Example.
stuff. I don't play that. I never played that. It just never worked. Thunderball is weird. I never played that. It just doesn't seem to work.
What did Eartha Kitt
Live and
do?
Let
Diamonds
Die.
Are Forever?
The Spy Who Loved Me.
Yes.
For Your Eyes Only.
Yeah. Carly Simon.
You know, and then you can also do things like Beautiful Stranger. That was in Austin Powers too. That was the big song in that.
Thank you for reminding me. I forgot about
that-
Beautiful
Yeah,
Stranger.
and that's a great song.
track.
And it's got a
is a
little
really-
bit of that Theron kind of stuff going on in it, like in the 60s.
Yeah, it does.
So, and you could even do anything cop, I think would probably work too, like Hawaii Five-0 and weird stuff like
What
that
about, like,
might
Batman
work as
and-
well. So,
Like, should I go into the TV realm as well?
Sure.
Like, Kevin had mentioned Get Smart.
yes,
I don't, outside of the
I
theme,
Spy.
I don't recall a lot of stuff from Get Smart.
I Spy was a one I used to play a lot, and it seemed to work better than something weird like an Eartha Kitt song or, you know.
Well,
Tom
and
Jones.
I think the advantage you and I have, you at Safe House, me at this event, is if you're playing music at a themed event, it's interpretive to the event. So every different person is going to take the song differently.
Mhm.
So there's almost like no wrong songs, but I tend to
better.
go a little too heavy on the theme.
They catch the reference. It's better, but
And-
they may not have seen the
That's it, John. What I said to the client today, there's like no exaggeration, 6 clients running the event. So
Right.
I'm answering to all 6 and I'm explaining to one that the other one already said yes to something.
Mhm.
But it's still,
Fine.
I think they take it very seriously, and it's
Sure.
you know,
Well, you know, what I've always done there, and I have that dinner set that I play, the warm-up set, and sometimes I go in early and I play for like 3 hours on it, and I'll sprinkle those tracks in. But it's no rhyme or reason the way I'm sprinkling them in.
okay.
I'm putting Billy Strange between, I don't know, a Madonna song and a I don't know, whatever. It's no rhyme, no reason. It's out of left field. And when you're programming, there's a couple of things I want to just touch on here that I feel like this is my style. And one of those things is that if you want people to take notice of what you're doing, change something. If you're doing the same thing all night long,
Oh yeah, no.
and it sounds the same all night long, whether it be the same beat or the same type of music, it doesn't matter. This could go for beat mixing. This could go for even genre. People aren't going to notice when you throw something on. But if you sandwich I Spy for the FBI or Secret Agent Man, you know, in between, I don't know, a Dua Lipa song and a Mark Ronson song, they're going to notice you played it. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
what is this? It's different. Oh, this is the Spy song, or this is the theme. So it helps people take notice. The other thing I will mention is, and I do this all the time, where I will take a list of tracks, like I will make the biggest list of tracks I can find of what I feel like would work within a pocket of a genre, right? So in this case, it's spy music. And then figure, okay, well, maybe I'm going to throw one on every half hour, 45 minutes. Maybe that's the way to do this. So I'm not just oversaturating it. You're going to have at least 4 hours to do background stuff. So that's going to give you the opportunity to play like a dozen plus songs, really good
100%.
spy themed songs.
Yeah.
Make a list of 50 of the damn things if you want to, and then pick the best 12 and play those.
Yeah, that's valid.
That's how I would approach this. Just
Yeah, that's a good insight. I think I initially was like, damn, I got to do 2 or 3 straight hours of just James Bond style.
no, I wouldn't.
And then-
I totally wouldn't.
I thought, you know, that
There's
gets
not
really
2 or 3
old.
hours of it to play.
Well, that's the thing. Now,
Yeah.
would you? Because this just came to mind.
Oh, something that's really dope. Moby did the James Bond theme in the I think it was
Really?
the late 90s, and it's really good. And a lot of people, promo only. I got it from promo only. And
Oh,
I've played it at Safe House when I started working back there, and people were like, what is this? I've never heard this before. This is amazing. And they worked there and they never heard this. So
I will
it's a
definitely
good
make a note.
track. Check out the Moby version of the James Bond theme. It's really nice.
I am
Side note,
making a
sorry.
note.
I interrupted you.
No. I'm making a note about it right now. Moby.
Yeah, that one's hot. And I will interchange that one with the Billy Strange one once in a while too. Because what I like to do, and I've never told you guys this, I've been doing this since I was 21. At 10 o'clock, I play the James Bond theme, and I talk over it. And I
At
get
all
on the
your
microphone.
events or just at Safe House?
At Safe House. I'll play the
okay.
James Bond theme. I'll turn it up a little bit. I'll turn my lights on. Back in the old days, I'd hit a switch and I'd get the searchlights that would come on. I'd wait till 10 to do that.
Well, that's cool.
So I would wait, until the guitar part started, dang, and I get on like, hey, everybody, welcome to Safe House. It is Friday night. I'm Brian, your DJ, and go on and on with whatever I had. That's been my shtick since 1992 there. So,
oh, wow.
That's how I use the track. It opens the dance floor. So everything changes after you hear the James Bond theme song. So before that, I'm playing background stuff. I turn it up, the James Bond theme song goes on, and it's a different thing. It's code red. It's club time. So that's how I've always approached it.
Now, it just dawned on me, in today's world with controllers and the ability to have samples, should I have sample banks of like Bond, James Bond?
That's why I mentioned the Moby track. I think it's in there.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay, cool.
I think it is. And if it's not, that'd be fun to have.
Yeah, just to occasionally Bond, James Bond. Just,
Yeah, vodka martini shaken, not stirred. Those
the things that we all know. Probably not Octopussy, but
a lot of vagina.
A lot of them. Yes.
I think in Inspector Gadget, don't they use the Get Smart sample like "Chief, I'm on my way" or something like that?
You could totally do Inspector Gadget. You could. That would be John. That's a really good one. I never thought of that, but you could totally do.
That is a good one. It's funny. I like the theme stuff, and I don't get them as often as a week from Saturday, I'm doing a 65th birthday party from a guy from Long Island for 40 people, and they want disco.
Nah.
So I'm like, okay, I think I can handle 4 hours. And they're like, yeah, it's a disco party, 65. I'm like, then he's going to hear disco. I'm like, did he go out in the city or did he go out in the island? And his wife's like, he did. He used to go to these clubs. I'm like, okay, I got him.
You go to steakhouses? Yeah. That's where they were doing disco in Long Island back then.
Big time. Yeah. Well, like the original from the movie, that was a steakhouse, wasn't it, initially?
I don't know. But I mean, I got all this stuff talking to Bobby Sinise, who used to own DJ Trends, because he was a disco DJ. And he started at the steakhouses on Long Island.
Yeah.
And then he went into the city, but he also opened a record store in the city. And really cool stories that Bobby used to tell me.
We did dinner the other night. It was Pulse and Hideki and I on Wednesday after the Google thing. And we decided to go to this place near the office it's called Pollo Inca. It's an Inca style chicken restaurant. Sit down, booths, the whole 9 yards. But yet in the middle of the place, you look up and they've got that really thin box truss. The kind that a DJ would put on two
Right, I know what you're talking about, the little triangular stuff.
Yeah, and it's got like a couple vertigos and a couple mini jams, and I think there was a moving head and there was a fog machine. And I'm like, and they're like, oh yeah, Friday, Saturdays. Oh no, like after 10. Oh, like the waitress wanted me to really understand.
It gets
and I'm just like, you know what? I like those places. I've worked in those places where it's like mild mannered restaurant, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Those lights go on and all hell breaks loose. It's
good way to make money. That's it.
Well, yeah, because you realize you have another audience. And there are people that don't want to go to the city, as it were. And back east, I think John can pipe in a lot on this one. I grew up about 11 miles from downtown Boston.
Sure.
Well, the nightclubs were kind of spread all over. There wasn't, at my age, I'm a little older than John. Lansdowne Street was a club. Like you could go behind Fenway Park, and on Lansdowne you had like Avalon, Spit,
like
Metro. Now there's a pool hall and like nothing, but that was a destination. Hey, let's go to Lansdowne tonight. And when you got there, you would decide
it's a strip of
which
things
club should we go in, or should we just go in and out?
Right.
But other than that, the clubs were all out in the burbs. Like, I can't even name. And I left Boston when I was 29 years old. Outside of Lansdowne and Faces on Route 2 and the stuff in Saugus, I never heard, like, if there was a famous Quincy club, I don't know it. If there was a famous Southie club, I don't know it.
We had the Water Club. We had the one that's right on the water, right on the ocean. It's probably holds 2,500 people or so. It's seasonal though because it's all outdoors. So
Right.
I have heard of that one.
Well, you've been here, and
Yeah.
Brian Kay's in the room. He's been here. We've got our Walker's Point, and that's like the gay bar.
Oh, that's where they have that huge festival, right?
No, Walker's Point. Remember the clock, the big clock.
Oh yeah, downtown. What's the spot?
Oh no, that's on the way to downtown. The big clock tower. That's the neighborhood next to mine. That's Walker's Point.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And all the gay flags are hanging there and stuff. That's where, like Lacages and all the other. Well, there's straight bars there too, but that's a district. So it's a club district in Walker's Point.
Right.
So you can say, where are we going tonight? Walker's Point. And you just go there and you go wherever you go there.
Sure.
Or you say East Side or North Ave. And it's like, okay, there's stuff on North Ave. You do stuff on North Ave.
Right.
But we also had, and now it was before my time, and now it is again, we have Third Ward, which is that neighborhood we drove through that looked like Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah. That
if
was
you
cool.
remember that, right? Before we hit downtown, it looks like Brooklyn. That's Third Ward. So, but I'm thinking back when I was a kid, we had a lot of great suburban clubs. Some of the best clubs were suburban clubs. We had, there was stuff on Highway 100, which is very suburban. It's still Milwaukee County, but it's New Berlin and West Dallas. There was some great stuff there. There was stuff on the north side. Big stuff, like destination places. And of course you had downtown too. And back then you had the big clubs downtown. So
we had areas. I mean, but they were not. There's such a fine line when you say club. Like, I know it sounds stupid to say, but when I go to a club, I know I'm in a club versus I'm in a bar.
No pool tables,
that
no
has a
dartboards
DJ on a Friday.
No TVs playing the game.
Right. And rarely have I been to a club called Hula Hands, but I've been to plenty of hula hand bars.
Right.
Where it's like, oh, Johnny's DJing upstairs. And
I'm not talking about sports bars. I'm talking about clubs. I'm talking about, you pay a cover, you go in.
Yeah, they're not open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
They're not open anytime. No,
they're Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday's gay night. That's it.
Or our college night or whatever. Yeah.
College night.
There's no dartboards.
No dartboards, no pool tables, no poker machines.
But sometimes
trying to take animal heads on the wall.
No.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's fun.
No sports, anything.
If you get the right crowd in the right area. Like when I first moved to Temecula, I had a guy hire me to DJ at a restaurant called Iron Walk. And they would have 3 DJs on a Thursday night. I mean, this is 2004. They were paying $500 a night to a DJ. You had to bring sound and you played for 3 hours. But at the time I was like, this is a mile from my house. This is cool. And I went in and you couldn't move. And I'm like, oh, this is so not my scene, because they were playing music that I just wasn't into. And the guy goes, so next Thursday? I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. I'm the wrong fit.
Yeah.
What do you mean? It's $500. I go, dude, I don't care if it's $5,000. This is not my crowd.
Like, I want to ask the other guys, because I've kind of got the same. I got the same vibe with sports bars. Any of you guys get the same vibe with? I don't belong in sports bars as a patron or a DJ. How about you guys, Eric?
Well, I do karaoke, so I have one venue that is a sports bar.
Okay.
And the other one's a gas station.
Do I feel like I belong in there? No, but it's money,
Right.
So, yeah.
I get uncomfortable in them.
What do you mean? Like the environment?
Yeah. I don't dig it. I don't feel like.
Well, you're not. Nobody's ever run up to me and said, "Hey, what's the line on the game according to Brian S. Red?" Like, that's not a statement you're going to hear. Because running back to Brian S. Red, it's going to be, "What's the game?" So that's just not your scene, which I totally understand.
But I'm uncomfortable there.
But
I'm very uncomfortable there because a lot of bros there with shit to prove. And I
that's
don't
what
like
you're uncomfortable about. Oh,
yeah, I don't like that. Once they get some alcohol in them, and they got the hats on, and they're hanging out with their packs of dudes. A club is different.
Right.
Maybe two guys go together to talk to all the chicks that went there together. It's a different vibe. It's social. They're more like you bring your tribe there, and you
would have hated Iron Walk. Iron Walk had what we call bros, which is the baseball hat that you flip up.
Yep. Yeah.
The high white socks. They all get out of what Connor taught me was a brodozer.
Brodozer, yeah.
Brodozer.
I got a friend who calls them Trump trucks.
Yeah, and they barely reach the door handle. If
Yeah.
you're offended and it's true, then don't be
Sorry.
offended.
Yeah.
Pick your costume when you get up. If you want to go bro, go bro. But it was like the audience. I'm like, this is so not. And that was the thing. I did the same thing at Fridays. The Fridays in Temecula used to stay open until 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And they would bring a DJ in. And I saw a DJ there and I'm like, okay, he's quick mixing. He's not very good mixing, but that's okay. And I'm like, this crowd really, and they're like, it was one of those nights where you regret going, hey, I'm a DJ. Here's my card. Because they call you and you're like, shit, this is the last place
I've been there. I'm just not macho enough to hang out in a sports bar. I don't have anything to prove.
Like why? A family place. It's different than a college bar. It's families.
But
college bars are fine. Yeah.
You ever say to yourself, why is, like I said it at Fridays. So they're like, hey, I got your card. I'm the manager. Can you come by and talk to me? I'm like, sure. What about? It's like, we have a DJ, the DJ we have is in San Diego. We understand you live nearby. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm happy to come by. I came by. She's like, yeah, you'd be like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm like, well, Saturday's out. And I can do some Fridays. I go, Thursdays I'm open. What times? Oh, we move the tables and chairs and make a dance floor. If you could bring lights and sound. I'm like, great. Sure. Like 10 to 2. I'm like, okay, so 4 hours. Right. And she's like, you can drink. I'm like, I don't drink when I work. Okay. I'm like, what's the pay like? She's like, we could probably go 250. And I'm like, 250 an hour would be awesome. And I meant it seriously. And she meant it for the night. And I'm like, right. Yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah, it's what you're bringing your own stuff.
I said,
and bringing stuff.
I said, I can do 250 plus 250 in trade. She's like, oh, I don't know if they'll let me do that much. That's a lot of money. I go, do you want people dancing and coming back and drinking and eating? Or do you want them to come in and go, it's way too loud. The music's terrible. I'm not coming here again. I go, that's what you're hiring me to do, is to have people come and be comfortable and switch it up. I said, I was here the other night for an hour. The DJ played the same beat, the same style for a solid hour. Nobody really danced, but I saw people leave and I saw people come in and not stay. I said, I was just hanging out alone. I just did a wedding and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, you got to build that crowd, but it takes time. It's like the incident Brian had. I mean, I've been a manager at a bar and a club, but even when I was a manager, common sense told me, and I learned from other managers who were better at it than me, if you're going to do a project, you need to invest time first, money second. Don't just throw money at something and say, look, we're a success, because time will tell. But you've got to you have to
try things
every single pick a day. Well, I mean, John's a great example on Twitch. John's done thousands of hours, and John's built a good following and has a good audience because he's consistent. He has time. He does what he should. That's, I think, the biggest failing with clubs and bars and restaurants. They come in and go, hey, we just hired Jay. He's a great DJ. We like Jay. He's a cool guy. And the first night you work, you have a good crowd. And the second night, not so much. And they fire me. Yeah. It's like, what happened?
Results that they're looking for in that circumstance are not instant. There's no instant gratification. You don't just flip a switch and your club's suddenly busy. People have to talk. And it takes a couple of weeks to get everybody on board.
A great quote from a comedian one time. I don't remember what he was talking about, but the analogy works with this. It's like blaming Ronald McDonald when you get a bad hamburger. It has nothing to do with yeah.
Well, and that's
had no control over who comes in the door. They got to advertise that stuff,
right?
If they want me to be a promoter too, well, you better pay me money for that. A lot of
that
money.
That was a late '90s, early 2000 thing I ran into when I was a younger DJ working more off the boats and stuff, and I was in San Diego proper, so I was doing some stuff, and it was funny. I would get that, hey man, my friend saw you DJ somewhere, or I did someone's wedding, and hey, one of our guests is a promoter. And that was, I hate to say it, if you're a promoter, good for you, but the biggest red flag in this industry for me is the word promoter. Because what I heard you say was, there's a guy here who is going to make sure that you don't work anymore because they have a friend who's not a great DJ, but they're going to bring them in, and eventually they're going to get fired.
God, that just sounds like a take the money and run kind of job.
Well, and that's a lot of times, it's like they drive up in daddy's Beamer. They're a college student and they just want to, meet some girls and have some drinks on a Thursday. I get it. But I've also seen true promoters like in Vegas, and they're organized to a fault. I've seen them in Miami. They know everyone. They know where to put the right people. They're more relationship makers than anything else. They're not just saying, oh, you're a DJ, come work in this bar. They're like, what kind? Who do you, let me see you. What do you got? What do you do? How do you look? You're a better fit at Safe House. Brian's a better fit at this Latin club. They would think it out. Mm-hmm. So they were making relationships and putting people in the right place. That's a much different experience.
Well, promoters, it just seems to me like a promoter has nothing to lose. No. Because the lifespan of most bars and clubs is what, 3 years?
Yeah, max.
I mean, there are bars that have been around forever, of course, but like a venue, like a new venue that pops up tomorrow, and they've got live music, and they're the cool place to go. It's about a 2-3 year deal until the next place opens, and then they close their doors or they sell before
or they close and retool.
Get weird. So the promoter thing, it's like a short term gig. It's gigging place to place. Mm-hmm. And if it fails, who cares? Just move on to the next place. Yeah, well, they were failing anyway. There's
a lot, like you say, of like the college bars here. The promoters will go to a university like Emerson or Northeastern, and they'll paper and talk to people and say, we're taking over this bar on this night. Sometimes they arrange transportation for them, but it's like, we're all going to converge on this place, and it's Northeastern night.
Yeah.
And they'll get however many they can. And then the following night, it's going to be Boston College night. So that's where they're pulling the people from. I mean, now with the internet, it's a little easier, but to walk on campus and just put it on, in the forum and at the office, people say, oh, everyone's going to Com Ave tonight for this big party. We're taking over the bar. And, that gives a promoter a little punch to say that, I'm going to get either something off the door or it's, a flat fee or however they do, but they can make a living doing that. 7 days a week in Boston. If you got it.
And I know guys in Vegas that make ridiculous money as promoters, and they've got a tie-in to every club. And it's like, I was friends with one guy, and I would go to Vegas for like Mobile Beat and be like, hey man, what's going on? It's, Monday night. I know it's dead, but I'm in town. What do you got? Oh, we got a special thing with so-and-so at this club. Just get some girls. I'm like, what? Just bring some girls. I'll get you in. Yeah. I'm like, what girls? He goes,
whatever.
The hotel. I don't care where you get them, but bring some cute girls. I'm like, dude, I'm an older married guy. Like, what am I going to go solicit women? He goes, dude, just bring women. I can't let you in alone. I'm like, why not? He's like, if you bring me 4 or 5 girls, I'll get you a table. I'll give you a bottle. You get whatever you want. But
if it's
a business.
I'm just saying, if they're successful, they do well. But if they're not really. They're not going to lose the shop. The people who really have it on the line,
they're not invested.
These establishments. No, they're not.
Right.
But the establishments want, like John said, they want that instant result.
Yeah, they do.
They listen. I famously told this story, the bar in San Diego I worked, where they opened up and they had a vision, and then someone got to them, a promoter, and said, I can bring you 1,000 people on a Thursday. And they did. And then they did that week after week, and they had problems and they had fights and they had stabbing and all this stuff. And they go, what are we going to do? And they brought me back and they wanted me to do only one style of music. And it was too late. The bar was marked as this crowd. And they go, what are we going to do? I go, close for 6 months. Rename
it's hard
it.
To
like
shake
you're
a
done.
Dangerous tag.
You can't shake what people know you as.
It's funny because there was this club downtown that we used to go to. And the DJ there, his name was Tim. The most unassuming looking college student you ever saw in your life. Played the best tracks. Incredible. And he mixed music video. He mixed records. It was really good. Great night every night. It was the cool place to go to hear the new cool stuff. And the young people went there. They had really good alternative nights. They had really good like house dance music nights. It was fantastic. That was the spot to go to. And, I started going down there probably around 90. So I'm like 19 maybe or 18 when I started going down there. And recently I was doing some research on old clubs in Milwaukee because, once in a while you see a picture on Facebook of, like a local Milwaukee group. Remember this club? Remember this club? I'm like, I wonder if I can find on Club Maryland. So I looked it up. And by the way, all the people who own this place, they're related to Eris, of course. They're all Greeks and they're all connected.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny because they're all his uncles who own this place. So I look to see what the story was in this place, and there was an article in the newspaper on this place when it opened. And it was opened by one of Eris's uncles, and the idea was to make a club for the older people. It was supposed to be a club for boomers. It was supposed to be 60s and 70s music that you couldn't hear anywhere else. That was the theme.
Right.
It didn't work. It turned into something else.
Yep.
They had an idea, and there just wasn't enough clientele to support it.
100%.
And it turned into a young person's really cool music venue like just a year or two later.
Yeah.
But the original plan was, we're going to play Motown, we're going to play disco, we're going to play things that the boomers like. So they have a place to go out because these other places are too young for them now. And yeah.
We've talked about it, and I've said I'm going to try to do it, and I'm trying to find a venue that would do it for me. And I'm not exaggerating. To give reference, I used to DJ at a thing called tea dances on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
Brian knows what they are. Some of you might know what they are. They primarily started in the gay community. They were huge out in P-Town. And it would be a Sunday afternoon party from like 1 to 3, 1 to 4. And it would be a way of getting people that had raged the night before, were probably still hungover, but they could party during the day. And then by 4 o'clock, they were done. And they had the rest of Sunday to relax.
Yeah.
Wind it down, get ready, and go back to work on Monday.
It's a brunch club.
Yeah. Well, today it is. But I did them in the late 90s, and I did them in the early 2000s in Hillcrest in San Diego at this gay hotel. And I would come in and do a 1 to 4 set. And it would be like, fast, like 128 club music. Just go for it. A lot of the older Hex Hector stuff and really dope remixes. But I have the idea because I've heard so many people complain about going out late, and it's a joke now, like, oh, you're in your 40s, it's 9 o'clock on a Saturday, you're watching some murder show and you're half asleep with a bottle of wine. But what if I had a nightclub that on a Saturday night opened at 5 o'clock and closed at 10?
Well, I think
there's an audience with money in their pocket. That
if you have an audience,
you know what? I'm going.
If you have an audience that you feel like would do this, I don't think any venue with half a brain would tell you no.
Right.
I think it's a matter of finding a venue that's already doing something.
They have nothing.
That's like, oh, we've got dinner, we've got this, we've got that. We're okay with just 21 to 28-year-olds that don't spend money coming in that night versus going to the boomers who are in their 40s, 50s, 60s going, dude, I don't want to be out at midnight.
Back then, maybe. Whatever that
5 to 10, let's rage.
Somebody commented the other night, Amy Poehler and... Amy and who does she always perform with? They did Weekend Update on Saturday Night Live together.
Tina Fey.
Tina Fey, thank you. Tina Fey and Amy Poehler have a 2-woman show. They just sold out 11 nights at the Beacon Theater in New York. Their Sunday night show was at 5 p.m. It's done at 8 o'clock. And that was one of the biggest things people raged about was, oh my God, I just saw an amazing show and it's 8 o'clock and I'm done.
Right.
I can go get something to eat. I can be in bed by 10. Oh my God, this is awesome. I really think there's a market. Who was it? Jamie Lee Curtis was commenting about going to see like Bruce Springsteen. She's like, Bruce is in his 70s. So am I. Bruce, do a 5 o'clock show. Yeah. I can't be out till 11 or 12 at night anymore.
Yeah, if he starts at 5, he may still be going at 11.
Well, actually, with Bruce, it's a little different.
He's done some 4.5 hour marathons when he gets.
But it's like, I almost think that there are people watching this show who are DJing in different communities. Maybe it's Florida, maybe it's a retirement area, whatever. But if you found the right venue, or go to a local country club or something and say, hey, let's do a disco theme, but it's on a Saturday from, 6 to 10. That's it. And it's done at 10 o'clock. So people can get back to their homes. They're not driving after midnight. It's not too late.
You know where it feels like that would be a really cool place to do? And I mean, I don't know San Diego's layout or anything else, but it feels like it'd be a neat thing to do at a marina or near a marina.
Just thinking that.
Yeah. Matinee at the marina.
Swear to God, I was just
3 to 7.
This is like a yacht club thing.
Yeah. It's a total
Well,
yacht
look at the
club
club
thing.
behind you.
Yeah,
I would think
the problem with the
sell
club.
this.
Well, the problem with the club behind me to do something like that during the day, and call me old school, but I need ambient lighting to do this.
Oh no, I
You
100%
can't do
agree.
it in broad daylight. You can't do a rager outside. Then it's a kid thing. Then it's a college party. You need it to be dark. And when you're talking yacht club, you've got these beautiful panoramic views.
Yeah, it's all
in this
until the sun goes down. It's all glass. Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
so when the sun's up, it's all bright in there. So you know something near the marina or near a marina, but a place where you have control over the window treatments, or alternately just a dark space. Yeah, I think that would be
100%.
Pipe and drape it. Yeah.
I think it's just funny that because we're all so young, when I said 6 to 10, you're
We're
like
just children,
daytime. You're like, oh, that's daytime.
What I don't like about it is I'd have to get up early to go do it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like doing a wedding
party at the yacht club.
2:30 thing just
11.
Where's the bouncy house?
Get up and get ready. Yeah.
Where's the bouncy house? Is this a kids' party? Why are we out? Or
There's the bouncy house.
Got to bring the ceremony system.
That would be awesome. But you know, I think it goes back to us talking about the James Bond party I'm doing this weekend. It's knowing your audience and flexing with them, but also ultimately running the show and seeing, where's the opportunity? Because, I mean, this was you and I have talked about this extensively. A Danny Tenaglia and Twilo and different clubs in New York that DJs were showing up at 6:00 on a Sunday and finishing at noon on Monday. Like, wait, that's impossible. No, that's what they did.
Well, they'd do it here on New Year's.
12 to 12. Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, and there's an audience, the Paradise Garage crowd. Can you imagine today saying to people, go to a shopping mall and take over the second story of a parking garage?
You know who
Can you
does
imagine
that?
trying to sell that?
You know who goes to these clubs at 1, 2 in the morning and parties until the sun comes up? Like a lot.
This guy. What?
David Lee Roth.
Really?
Yes. I was watching.
He was asleep until midnight then. There's no way.
I was watching a show and he said, what I do is, because I guess at the time when he did this, I think it was like a year or two ago, he lives in Manhattan. So he likes to ride his bike. So he'd ride his bike to the club and he had a little pack, with his change of clothes in there for his, club stuff. And he'd tip the door guys to watch his bike. He'd chain his bike up, whatever. He'd go in there, go in the bathroom, change into his
club
attire, and just dance until the sun came up. And he'd ride his bike home. It's a thing. I mean, he's a disco guy. He always has been a disco guy.
No, 100%.
And people like, what?
Look at the shoes on the first Van Halen album with the bell-bottom leather pants. He was a disco guy.
Yeah.
With his disco shirt.
They've talked about it. It's like, yeah, well, Eddie Van Halen was a classical guy. His brother liked classic rock, but David was a disco guy. And people
100%.
laugh. Like, no, he really was. It's true. And he's still way into EDM. And yeah, he does that kind of stuff.
I think he was at EDC last year when I was there. The talk was he was there. Like the Insomniac people, because they're doing security through Live Nation.
He probably was.
Big names.
He
and I'm pretty sure that on more than one occasion, the name, David Lee Roth is here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, yeah. No, I know he was for a fact because he introduced somebody.
Well, he did Jump a couple years ago with somebody. I remember who it was.
Yeah, no, he performed a couple years ago.
Yeah, they did a techno remix of it or something. This is when Jump remix comes out. Like every 10 years, we get a new version of Jump that somebody's.
I got one that's like 140 BPM from long. I can't tell you who did it, and it's 100 years ago, but it is fast. It is like boom, 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 jump, and it's like two different jumps, and then it goes into dent, 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 bum, 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 bam. It's almost like happy hardcore.
I understand that, you've got this spy themed Catholic school party that you're going to do real well. And I understand that you got this disco themed party coming up. I just can't help but thinking, if I lived in your area, you'd be out of business because I'd take all that stuff.
Wow. Wow.
We love the challenge. We want the jobs nobody wants.
No, I mean, this is no. I'm just teasing, but no, a disco party would be fantastic. I would.
Latin bar
A
mitzvah?
little bit of
Sign me
truth
up,
in
whatever.
everything we say there.
I would.
Give me a few. Don't worry.
Well, and you know what? I think it's not my theme. It's theirs. It's like the client came to me like,
Right.
he's 65. He wants to do a disco theme. I'm like, perfect. That's great. And I think it's one of the few themes, and it's, you know, like I've yet to have anyone come up and be like, hey, what do you think if we all show up with like thrift store clothes on from the 90s and wear flannels and we do a 90s theme? Like that hasn't come across my table yet.
It will.
But I've done plenty of 80s and 70s.
80s the thing.
And they work really well because
They do.
you've got so much, especially 80s.
I did a disco.
Like disco is a genre.
Mhm.
80s is a decade. You could play Whitesnake as fast as you could play Thompson Twins.
Yeah, but they're expecting I Want Candy and you spin
Yeah,
around
they're
and waking up
expecting the new
go-go.
wave, the atypical. Like when you say, what's in, like we
Or
did
pump up the
wheel,
jam even. I mean, that's
right. We did
Yeah.
a wheel thing tonight, the other day, and the one time on the show, and it was like, you know, 80s rock song. And I think I said Def Leppard Photograph.
Uh-huh.
Because, you know, there's the quintessentials in different genres of that decade. But if you just said 80s, like you automatically go to the, like you said, the new wave stuff.
Well, that was the new form of music. You can't really say one song defines the 80s because there was too much going on.
No,
Too many
no.
lanes.
No, but
100%.
most people are thinking Come On Eileen and Safety Dance.
Right.
And Hungry Like the Wolf. So the brain goes. I think it does. When they ask for 80s songs from me, they're usually wanting that. They're not looking for, you know, Tony Terry or Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock. They want Durant, you know, something.
Mhm.
I love rock and roll. I mean, they're looking for something pedestrian.
Yeah. Depeche.
Let's hit this real fast before we end the show.
Well, okay.
The thing was your dad picking your kid up from a 90s theme party.
Okay.
So they played like all these tracks, like 20, 30 seconds of each track.
Uh-huh.
And the dad's like trying to go outside to wait, but he keeps dancing.
Uh-huh.
But it was interesting. I just want your opinion. If I said, hey, play me some 90s, and this is the playlist I gave you. Snap, Rhythm is a Dancer, Real McCoy, Another Night,
Good.
Culture Beat, Mr. Vane, La Bouche, Be My Lover, Scatman John, Scatman,
No.
Nuts.
Sash, Rodriguez, Ecuador,
Uh-huh.
Alice DJ, Better Off Alone. That's my jam. So,
That thought was
but I think of it as 2000.
Yeah.
That was 2000.
That's what I thought. Sonique, It Feels So Good. I also think that's more 2000.
That might be late 90s.
Okay. I mean, but those tracks, I didn't see where Alice DJ and Sonique went with the other ones because I think they were
Better
totally.
Off Alone is just recent, isn't it? Like
No, Better
like
Off
24
Alice
years old.
DJ is like 2000.
Yeah, it's early 2000s.
But
What
I'm
am I
starting to see these tracks come back.
Mm-hmm.
La Bouche and.
Yeah.
So were you asking me what I would build around that?
Yeah. Like if I threw
would,
that out on the table as here's your 90s set, like would you stick more on the La Bouche side or would
Yes.
you? Okay, that's what I thought.
I go in and out.
Since it was different. Now you're in Share Believe and doing.
Well, that's what I mean.
Open
Like
zone.
that's okay, good.
But you can go in and out though. I mean, I think it's one thing to segue out and completely just like go away. But if you jump out and then come right back, you're okay. That's the key to come back. So you can stretch, but then come back.
Yeah. The earlier part of that, you get Crystal Waters, you get Robin S, you get
you've got all that energy
all
stuff
that
you can do.
awesome stuff. You know.
Yeah, tons of it. Tons of it.
That's where I was
Yolanda,
thinking more 90s.
And but you could even do like trance stuff like Plastic Dreams.
Adagio for strings.
You could do Daft Punk Around the World. You could do tons of stuff.
That's
There's
a good
so
leap
much.
into the 2000s. You're right when you hit that Daft Punk birth.
And if they're really into it, you could even do like maybe some new Chicago house sound stuff. You could do some Percolator or something. I mean, depending on how cool they are.
How's the Percolator?
I mean, you could go all kinds of directions with that. Just 90s dance. But like John said, there's a treasure trove of that stuff pre-92 that there's just so much of it you forgot it even existed. There's even Madonna songs that'll work in there. Really good ones like Deeper and Deeper and
Oh, I forgot about that track. I love that track.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
I haven't heard that in 100 years.
George Michael's cranking out energy stuff too, but he have
what was it? Too Funky.
Too Funky.
Yeah, he did a couple, I guess, in the 90s. But there was some good stuff. There was some really and I mean, yeah, I don't know. It depends on how.
Brian K is pointing to Eurodance.
Yeah, which
good point there.
Black Box and
that
2
Unlimited
thing. Yeah, the 2 Unlimited, AB Logic.
Yeah,
all that stuff.
Absolutely. There was a good scene. If you're new to this and don't know what we're talking about, believe it or not, all of us in this room, I'm sure, had the same CD series that I bought used called ESPN Jock Jams. Because they had all that
to go.
All this cheerleader stuff, yeah.
I had them, but what I didn't like about them was they mixed one track into the next one.
Yeah, and they'd have a sound effect that and would go to the next track. Right. But those things, to me, were gold, because that was not my vibe. So I'm like, who's this 2 Unlimited? Who's this? Who's that?
Come on, ride the train thing.
Oh, yeah. This is perfect. Venga Boys. Yeah, let me get this. Oh, Quad City. Oh, No Parking on the Dance Floor. And like, they just would put all these different tracks on.
Mm-hmm.
And not all of them were brand new. Like, I'm pretty sure No Parking on the Dance Floor was on one of them that I got.
Oh, that's an old one. They did Gary Glitter Rock and Roll on there. Oh no, that was part of Bobby D's Jock Jam mix.
Well, they would have Isley Brothers were on Jock Jam with Shout.
Did Todd Rundgren's Bang on a Drum turn up on that?
Yes. On one of them, yeah.
100%.
And it was one of the last tracks or something before like the Mega Mix Jock Jam exit or whatever.
That's a big sports song here in this part of the country.
I think it's well played everywhere.
I think so too. Yeah, that's a great track.
I've got video of going to a Oakland A's Red Sox game at Fenway about 8 years ago, and Sandstorm started playing.
Yeah.
I, of course, had to videotape and be like, yeah, let me send this to my boy, Ville. Yeah, check it out, Red Sox playing Sandstorm. And he's probably getting it going, that's cool. I didn't get paid for that one either.
Yeah.
Another example. Yeah, well, I appreciate the help and suggestions.
I hope that was
definitely going to be taking them. Well, like just the Moby James Bond theme. I'm really
I'll play that for you after the show.
Yeah, I want to hear that.
Really good.
I don't think I've ever heard it.
He had that song Go that had a lot of energy too. That sounded.
Well, Go was an album.
Go. It was.
That was a whole album. Oh no, I'm thinking Play was the album. No, it wasn't Go. It was Play.
Was it Play that had Porcelain?
Or there was Go too. Yeah. Yeah, Porcelain and Southside was on there. Yeah,
was on Go or Play?
Play.
Because I think
it was on Play.
He did that as a condition of, I'm going to write some tracks and I want to license them. And I think at one point he had something like 600 licensed bits off of that album. And he did it with that intention of, I'm going to make the most licensed album ever. That's why the tracks are so different. Like you heard Porcelain showing up in like Jaguar commercials, tampon commercials.
It was in a Leonardo DiCaprio film, I remember.
Yeah, it was all over the map.
He was on an island for some reason.
Yeah, he went out of his way to have his management like sell this stuff, go get licenses. Like,
that's the blueprint to get paid. I mean, if you're going to license your own stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's sitting on big money, and I think a lot of it came from his early work / that album.
Well,
that stuff just keeps paying you. It's not like today. Like you write a great song we were talking about last night. What do you do?
He had a couple songs on the Cool World soundtrack as well. That was early Moby. I remember seeing him like when that came out in like 91 or whatever it was. I'm like, okay, we're going to see who tonight?
Yeah.
And it was Moby. It was really intimate.
He's the one that's got My Life with Thrill Kill called
Next to the E. Yeah. It's got cool stuff. All right, kids, we're out. We'll see you next